Hello and welcome back to another episode. You join me today 2 days after an auspicious event. Saturday just gone, Saturday the 30th of March, marked the 80th anniversary of The Dark Knight. The whole world joined together in celebrating 80 years of Batman. Bruce Wayne's vengeful alter ego is now an octogenarian. Isn't that terrifying? Even more scary than the visage of the Bat is just how long he's been around, and the fact that he's got a serious staying power in that sense. A great many superheroes have come and gone in the past 80 years, but Batman remains. Now, I did not actually celebrate on the day. I did have it marked in my diary and my calendar on Friday, in fact, that this whole weekend was a Batman 80th weekend, but I actually celebrated on Saturday by taking down a fence. Yeah! Never mind taking down a crime syndicate, taking down a fence. So yeah, it did slip me by in the moment, I'm afraid. It did pass me by. But today I want to make amends by doing something that I've always wanted to do, and I figure this is the perfect time to do it. I'm going to read today, for the first time, Batman's first adventure. No, I don't. I don't own the original Detective Comics number 27 from 1939. That would be an astonishing thing to have in this house. Definitely can't afford that. But I do have a copy of the story in a little book that was released 5 years ago for Batman's 75th anniversary. A celebration of Batman, in fact. I have the dust jacket just over my shoulder, but the book is just here. Batman, a celebration of 75 years. And this book actually chronicles all the key adventures in Batman's long history, in the decades of crime fighting. Oh, look at that cover there. That's pretty epic, isn't it? That Batman has thrown himself into. And actually, quite appropriately, the book is bookended, pun intended, by initially his first ever adventure in Detective Comics, number 27, 1939, and a reimagining of that story at the end of the book, redrawn in and with slightly different art to reflect the modern day back in 2014. So I found that really appealing, and while I have looked at and read a lot of this book, although not as much of it as I really should do, I'm going to look at this week properly all the way through. I haven't got around to actually reading his first adventure. Of course, I'm familiar with the artwork, with that iconic cover, and the sort of the vampire-ish, demonic-ish kind of shapes that Batman has in that story, but I've never read it. So today, join me if you will as I read The Batman by Bob Kane, The Case of the Chemical Syndicate. So with the cover, Detective Comics number 27, May 1939. Now, when I first saw this, I was a bit confused. I was like, May? Well, why are we celebrating in March? That was the cover date on the comic. It was released in March 1939. It was just, I don't know, it was just said it was in May. So it's like one of those things when you have the September-October edition of a magazine or something, who knows. But anyway, it's not May, it was released in March, and it's got that wonderful image of the Bat having just swooped in and headlocking someone off a roof. Just epic. Starting this issue, the amazing and unique adventures of the Batman. The Batman, a mysterious and adventurous figure fighting for righteousness and apprehending the wrongdoer in his lone battle against the evil forces of society. His identity remains unknown. The home of Commissioner Gordon, who at the moment is entertaining his young socialite friend, Bruce Wayne. Well, Commissioner, anything exciting happening these days? No, except this fellow they call the Batman puzzles me. Oh, also Batman with a hyphen as well, a la Spider-Man. Interesting. They dropped the hyphen over the years. Presumably fairly quickly, I guess. Anyway, Hello? What's that? Lambert? The Chemical King? Stabbed to death? His son's fingerprints on the knife? I'll be right over. Talk about something exciting. Old Lambert has been murdered at the mansion. At his mansion. I'm going there now. Like to come along? Oh well, nothing else to do. Might as well, says Bruce, smoking a pipe, which is obviously really good for your lungs as a crime fighter and someone in peak physical condition. The Commissioner and Bruce Wayne speed towards the Lambert residence. Speed? Well, it must be the Commissioner's car, I guess. Hello, Sergeant. Everything under control? Yes, sir. We've got young Lambert in the back room. And after a thorough examination of the scene of the crime, the room becomes busy with the usual police routine. Well, I'm finished here. Let me talk to young Lambert. Hello, Lambert. They say you killed your father. I didn't do it, Commissioner. Believe me, I didn't do it. Calm yourself, my boy, and tell me all about it. Well, sir, tonight I came home early, and as I was passing the library, I heard a groan. I rushed in, and there was my father, lying on the floor with a knife in him. And as I rushed in, I got the impression of something leaping out of the window. I also noticed that my father's safe was opened. I pulled the knife out of my father's body, of course he did, and turned him toward me, just to hear him say, "Contract, contract." And then he died. That's how my fingerprints got on the knife. That's the truth, Commissioner. Did your dad have any enemies or people who had an interest in his business activities? Not that I know of, except his 3 former business partners. Let me see. There was Stephen Crane, Paul Rogers, and Alfred Stryker. Commissioner, there's a man named Steve Crane who wants to speak to old Lambert. Then I told him that old Lambert was murdered. He got very excited and wanted to speak to you. This is Commissioner Gordon. What's the trouble? Yesterday, Mr. Lambert called and told me he received an anonymous threat to his life. Today I received the same. That's why I called up. And I'm afraid I'll be next. What shall I do? Wait, and do not let anybody in. We'll be over as soon as we can. What's that, Bruce? Ho-hum, I'll leave you here to finish your work. I'm going home, he says, emptying his pipe. Meanwhile, Stephen Crane sits in his library with a feeling of impending danger when suddenly, ah! There's a sickening shot. Crane slumps in his chair, dead. The murderer rushes to the safe and secures a paper. Did you get the paper? Yeah, I did. So I'm just plucking these voices out of thin air, if that's not obvious already. As the 2 men leer over their conquest, they do not notice a third menacing figure standing behind them. It is the Batman. The Batman! And actually I like it. I like that he stood there with his arms folded, very much echoed, I suppose, in the 1990 movie. You know, you see Michael Keaton's Batman come down in the background after these 2 guys have I think they've robbed a purse or something off someone. And he comes in from the shadows behind them. So I like that. I like that Tim Burton echoed this imagery. The Batman lashes out with a terrific right. He grabs his second adversary in a deadly headlock and with a mighty heave sends the burly criminal flying through space. Well, through the space around him. Not obviously, he's not Superman. He doesn't fly off into the galaxy. The Batman swiftly picks up the paper that the murderer stole from Stephen Crane's safe. Meanwhile, the Commissioner draws up in his car. It's the Batman! Get him! Of course, Batman's going to be framed or be a suspect now, isn't he? Mr. Crane has been murdered, sir. It's horrible, said Mr. Crane's butler. That's 2 dead partners out of 4 that have received threatening notes. The other 2 must have received them too. Let's go to Rogers next. The Batman reads the paper he snatched from the killers, and a grim smile comes to his lips. He speeds his car. Oh, it was Bruce's car, not the Commissioner's. A red car. And actually, I think in the TV serials, didn't Bruce and Batman use the same car anyway? It was just a case of how quickly he drove it. So that fits, I guess, with early Batman. He speeds his car forward to an unknown destination. Meanwhile, Rogers, who learned of Lambert's death by news broadcast, has already gone to the neighbouring laboratory of his erstwhile partner, Alfred Stryker.
Hello, Jennings. I must see Stryker quickly. Won't you come in?
Oh, sock to the head. Jennings, Stryker's assistant, carries Rogers to the basement of his laboratory.
One more out of the way. Soon I'll control everything. This is a gas chamber I use to kill guinea pigs. You to experiment with, but now you are my guinea pig. When this glass lid covers you entirely, the gas will come through the jet and kill you.
You fiend! Jennings pulls a brake, which starts the glass down over Rogers and certain doom. I'm going now to turn the gas on. Sleep well. At that moment, the Batman leaps through an open transom? Skylight, I guess? Transom? The Batman seizes a wrench from a table and leaps for the gas chamber. Jumps inside himself! How brave. The Batman quickly plugs the gas jet with a handkerchief. As the gas chamber descends entirely over them, he then unties Rogers and with a powerful swing of the wrench, crash, he's out. Jennings returns and is startled by the Batman. He reaches for his gun. What the? The Batman greets Jennings with a flying tackle. Meanwhile, Alfred Stryker has heard the crash of the gas chamber and he enters the laboratory. Rogers, what happened? Your assistant, Jennings, tried to kill me. However, Stryker has not noticed the Batman, who has secluded himself in the shadows. So he didn't get you after all. Well, finish you and throw your body in the acid tank below. He's got an acid tank and a gas tube chamber thing. This is a heck of a laboratory. Oh, my hand! Sorry. This came out of nowhere. Oh, my hand! What's the idea? Why did he try to kill me?
This rat has been behind the murders, you see. I learned that you, Lambert, Crane, and Stryker were once partners at the Apex Chemical Corporation. Stryker, who wished to be sole owner, but having no ready cash, made secret contracts with you to pay a certain sum of money each year until he owned the business. He figured by killing you and stealing the contracts, he wouldn't have to pay this money. A very clever scheme. And being contracts was a strict secret between the four of us, his heirs on the outside world wouldn't know a thing about them. But how did you know all this? I secured this contract from one of his hired killers. Suddenly, Stryker, with the strength of a madman, tears himself free from the grasp of the Batman. Sock! Car! Bang! He's falling right into the acid tank! A fitting end for his kind. An echo of the Joker there. Batman doesn't kill. Yeah, right, whatever. Well, I suppose Batman didn't oh, no, actually, no. This isn't Batman killing, is it? This is Batman not saving. This is kind of like Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. I don't have to save you. Yeah. How can I ever thank you? Why, gone. The next day, young Bruce Wayne is again a visitor at the Commissioner's house. He goes over there for tea every day. Who has just finished telling Bruce the latest exploits of the Batman. And then Rogers said the Batman went through the skylight. Ah, so a transom is a skylight. There you go, okay. A very lovely tale, Commissioner, indeed. Bruce, back on his pipe again. After Bruce Wayne has gone, Bruce Wayne is a nice young chap, but he certainly must lead a boring life. Seems disinterested in everything. Bruce Wayne returns to his room
A little later, his door slowly opens. To his room, presumably back at home at the mansion. He doesn't have a room in the commissioner's house, does he? No, he must have gone home, surely. And reveals its occupant. If the commissioner could see his young friend now, he'd be amazed to learn that he is the Batman. Watch for a new thrilling Batman story next month. And there we have it, the beginning of an enduring legend of the Dark Knight. And as I say, there's a reimagined version of that story at the back of this book. It is different, very different. But I think that's just part of the ongoing secret, actually, of Batman, is the fact that he has been able to not reinvent himself. Obviously, artists and writers have been able to work with that enduring character, with the enduring imagery of a vampiristic sort of monster of the night who is also a vigilante, and bring him through the decades. Sometimes with more success than at other times, but nonetheless, he is here, and also he's here to stay. Batman, the Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne's crime-fighting alter ego. Happy 80th anniversary. Thank you guys for watching, as ever. Until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.